Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast, where today we have the privilege of hosting Annie Harmon, a remarkable guest with a rich background in IT management. With 26 years of experience in managing IT departments and teams, Annie has navigated through stagnation and demanding expectations as a proficient director of IT project management and finance. Despite a successful career that commanded a sustainable six-figure salary, she found her creative essence often overshadowed by professional demands. Now, at 64, she has faced significant personal trials, including the separation from her husband, estrangement from her son's family, and tackling mental illness. These challenges had led her to regain control of her life, set clear goals and boundaries, and rediscover her strength and purpose. Today, she is actually a now published author. Her book is called Unleash Your Inner Power. You can find that on Amazon. But she's also a certified high performer coach through Heroic Public Benefits Corporation and Coach Foundation. Annie empowers other women to find their balance, confidence, and purpose. So please join me in welcoming Annie Harmon to the show. Thank you so much, Annie, for joining me today. Yay.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and congratulations again on your book. That is something that is on my next goal, on my next things to do. You know how we have those goals that we set for ourselves, and that's one that I want to cross off for sure. So I'm so happy that you actually did that. And it must have been an amazing experience to go ahead and do the whole writing and then publishing. And just now it's
Oh,
out now on Amazon. So that's so great.
yes, it was a long process. It took me about 18 months to write and then publish my book. It was
Yeah.
extraordinary experience.
I bet. Well, Annie, you mentioned overcoming significant personal challenges, including battles with depression and anxiety, something that I have battled myself in the past. Could you share more about these trials and how you managed to turn these struggles into a source of strength?
Yes, in 2001, I was hit with mental illness. It was stress induced because I was at a C-level position right under the CIO as Director of Finance and Project Management for 5 businesses. And I cracked and I battled mental illness, finding the right combination of medicines and finding the right doctors that didn't give me bogus diagnoses, which is really hard nowadays. Everyone wants you to be multiple personality disorder or bipolar or manic depressive. And it's really hard to find a doctor that really cares and will keep working with you long enough to find the right combination and give you the strength and hope to continue on.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, I went through a lot of trauma and I kept it all inside. And it wasn't until a little bit later on where I thought I had a severe anxiety and going through a lot of depression because of, from my drinking. My husband decided to take my son away from me, which was a great choice, by the way, but I was still internally dying inside. And so I was going through an outpatient program where a lot of us were together. It was a group session where we all either had, it was anxiety, we were suffering from anger issues, and we were just projecting our anger on people, or we're suffering from depression. And so I learned a lot of coping mechanisms and how to handle that. But for me, it was like I really needed to get rid of alcohol because that wasn't helping. That was actually contributing to why I had a lot of anxiety and to why I was very depressed, because obviously alcohol is a depressant. So yes, it's so nice to actually come out through the other side. I did get a lot of help through that group program, but I really think that once I stopped drinking, that's what really helped me with my anxiety. It's just disappeared. Now I just get excited. I get like nervous excitement. So I call that like my good anxiety. So yeah.
Right. Mine, I had childhood trauma too. I was sexually abused and I was emotionally abused by my father throughout high school until I left the house. And I never dealt with those feelings. I stuffed them and then they finally came out. And it took me quite a few years to learn how to manage my feelings in a way that I could be productive again and feel my feelings, have a good cry if I needed to, and really face them in a way that was healthy.
Yeah, that's why it's so important for us to be our authentic selves. I think a lot of times we're told not to cry, not to feel, to hold everything inside. And that's exactly what I was doing. So that's why I went to alcohol to numb whatever was really going on inside because I didn't want to feel. But now it's a lot different for me and a lot of people that I know that I, especially now people that I work with, we have that good cry. That energy needs to be released. If we're upset about something, we'll go ahead and take walks, whether it be out in nature or on the treadmill, even around the house. I've discovered that sometimes my body has to move. And so I will take walks up and down the stairs, especially during the COVID time when we really couldn't go outside, during the early times of COVID. And I would think it was in March. I was just walking around my house, pacing back and forth just to get some movement on because I couldn't be stuck and I couldn't stay still. So
I
being,
did the same
yeah,
thing. I climbed my stairs 20 times a day
yeah,
to exercise.
exactly. They have those machines over at the gym where you're just climbing up the stairs. You can do that at home. You don't need to go to the gym. Just throw on some headphones and put your favorite jams on and just go up and down. You can even carry
Yep,
some weights too. That's some good movement there.
definitely.
Yeah. So going back to authenticity, you've discovered the importance of it. Can you tell us a little bit about the moment you realized that climbing the corporate ladder wasn't fulfilling your true dreams? And how did you go about rediscovering your core values and passions?
Well, I discovered that the corporate ladder wasn't working for me, that there was turmoil at every stage and politics, and you weren't allowed to be your authentic self. You had to be what management wanted you to be and be the face of the company, not your personal face. And I found that by going inside and doing the VIA strengths test, I figured out my strengths and weaknesses, and I decided to live my strengths. And by doing that, I founded Empower Life Changes. And now I help other coaches learn how to run a business. And
That's
I use some of my corporate information and skills from that, as well as skills that I've learned through heroic and other coaching courses.
Yes. A lot of people are leaving their corporate job because they don't feel like they can be themselves, like we were discussing, like you were just saying earlier. And it feels like even myself, okay, so I work at the Four Seasons Hotel and I'm there only 1 day a week, but I've been there over 17 years now. Now my position's a little bit different. I work in the spa, so I'm a massage technician there technically. And so I don't have anyone looking over my shoulder while I give treatments. So that's why I think I lasted that long. And plus I love the company. The company is it's an awesome company to work for. But I hear a lot of, especially women, are just done and sick of the corporate world. It's like a competition, 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 and trying to, compete against men. And then they're not going anywhere. And the men are just, climbing that ladder. But people are discovering their passions. And I say this often on my podcast that, yes, 2020 happened, but it gave us that pause to where we can then take whatever we did find or learned in corporate, take those skills, those people skills or the work skills, ethical skills there, and then find our passion and then combine them together and then create our own business. So I'm so happy that you founded Empower Life Changes to help women navigate their own challenges. Could you actually share a story how you help someone transform their life through your program?
Well, I've helped over 100 people so far,
Amazing.
and they've had transformations not only in their body, but in their mind and spirit by following their true self and losing weight, finding their passion, going back to school. I had one individual, she's going to UC Davis, and she's going to be a writer. And at age 62, to go back to school full time is quite a, a venture. And she's doing it and being remarkable. And I really find that helping other coaches as well,
Yeah, you know, that's amazing.
invigorating,
At 62, amazing. Yes, age is just a number.
right?
Age is just a number, and you can do anything. Like, really, I was just talking to my husband, and we're getting sore in our bodies as we're getting older. You know, we're in our 40s, and I was like, "No, we're not getting older. We just need to stretch more." We just
Exactly,
need to
movement,
stretch more. That's all we need to do. And no, because we feel so young at heart and amazing at 62, because now she's discovered what she wants to do and become a writer. And she's going to, that's like college, you know, all over again. That's
right?
fun. You
It's
get to
a
relive that.
Ivy League university. It was really a high-end university, which a lot with a lot of pressure. Just like in corporate, going back to school is very similar with the pressures. And in the corporate world, the pressure's not only from the men, it's the other women. They're trying to climb on top of you, not work with you or collaborate. And I think some of the things that need to happen more is collaboration between companies and coaches and businesses so that we help each other grow in a win-win situation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% because the connection and collaborations, that's why they have what's called masterminds. You take different individuals who have their own skills and that they're what they're really passionate and what they're really good at. You bring it together into a course, you know, mastermind. That's what's a mastermind is when you're coming together and creating something, collaboration. Yes, I was in a group called The Collective once for reasons because there was a group coaching business program and just meeting these fabulous women who have the same passions and goals and values is amazing, and they're like family. They're like family. I'm sure you'd experience that
Yes.
in your group too, right? All the women
Oh,
get together.
yes,
And do you work with men as well, or
definitely.
is it just women?
I work with both men and women,
Oh, that's
mostly
awesome.
women right now, but I do work with men.
That's awesome. Now, you've spoken about the potential for growth and positive change that lies within us. How do you personally embrace the unwritten chapters of your life? And what advice would you give to someone afraid of the unknown?
Lean into the fear. Take one step forward each day and continually learn. Read books, attend seminars. There are so many free seminars nowadays, and listen to podcasts such as yours. Is really helpful in helping a person grow and become empowered because something you'll hear will invigorate you to take your next step.
Yes. And these steps don't have to be huge leaps. I mean, it'll
Right,
happen eventually, but just baby steps, little by little.
exactly.
And it's improve something, change a habit that you're like, you know what, maybe I don't want to sleep late at night anymore. I want to sleep a little bit earlier. Just start with a half hour, even 15 minutes is fine. Just little by
And
little, and it'll become a habit. Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
do help people learn how to do daily habits. I call them rituals. So they have a startup ritual and a shutdown ritual that they do every day that includes, prayer, meditation, exercise, um, even shutting down your computer and making sure your office space is neat and clean before you start the next day is important for your mental health.
Yes. They say if you have a messy room or messy office or messy space around the house and you have messy thoughts in your head, so when you clear out that space, you'll notice you'll be more content, like, oh, this is a little bit different. It's like an energy shift, I noticed too, even for myself. Like if my desk gets a little cluttered, I'm like, oh, Gina, you need to clean this. And so I quickly organize it. And then I sit back on my desk and I'm like, wow, the energy just changes and you feel so much better. I mean, I noticed that for myself. I'm sure a lot of people notice it for
Yes.
themselves too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And as a certified high performance coach, what are some common obstacles you see people facing in the pursuit of high performance? And do you have any strategies you would recommend to overcome them?
The biggest struggle I see is fear. Um, People really get scared and want to have somebody hold their hand through the next step, and getting them training wheels where they can do it on their own and then take that step on their own is how I help them realize that I didn't need to hold their hand. They had it. They just needed a little guidance, verbal guidance, so that they could take that next step.
This-
And um,
Yeah, I was going to go ahead and say that we all have it within us. We do just need somebody to just guide us a little bit, to give us that extra push. Now, what a good coach is someone who can see their client and their potential more than that person can see it for themselves. I noticed for myself when I became sober in 2017, I just knew I wanted something different. And it started off with working out. I was really working out and into that. And then a friend recommended me to see a yogi. And she was a women's fitness expert as well. But the awesome thing is she was also a mindset coach for women, that she just created a program, a mentorship program for women to help us shift our mindset. And that is exactly what I needed at the time, because there was no sobriety coach, there was no alcohol-free coach, there was none of that. Not, at least not that I saw. And so when I worked with her, amazing experience, because she can immediately see, like I told her what my goals were and she's like, I see it. She saw it and I'm like, I didn't even see it. But now it's, I can see that for my clients too. Like as soon as, like, I see their potential, and it's also because I do have a knowing as well. Like I can see everybody's potential here on earth, because we all have the power, we all have the strength. We were just so conditioned in this world to be less, to be mediocre. But we want to be, we are extraordinary human beings and we can do so much. It's just we need that confidence within ourselves. And that's why I think coaches like yourself and my coach and me and all the other ones are so important and valuable in life, because they really turn up that knob a little bit for that confidence level to increase.
exactly, coaches tease out what you already have within inside you. And it's the coach's eyes on you to see that crack that might turn into a light and allow you to blossom. And a good coach will be able to see that and guide the client into being the best version of themselves through exercise, through diet, through um, giving them the knowledge, recommending books, showing them. I have idea. I tell, show, and teach you how to achieve your goals and become profitable for businesses and individuals to excel in their life.
That's so wonderful. Now, you've turned pain into purpose by empowering others. What are some actionable steps our listeners can take to start transforming their own pain into a driving force for positive change?
Contact me.
There you go. Yes, yes. And where can our listeners contact you?
Um, they can also read Arate. It's a daily reader, and it gives you inspiration daily. And that was written by Brian Johnson from Heroic. And they can start out their day with meditation and then gradually add to that habit stack in the morning to clean your house. Everything in your house should have a home. You take it out, you use it, and then it returns to its home. The same way you do. When you go out into the world, you return home. And home is warm, cuddly, and safe.
No, I like that. Yes. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say something like that. Return it to its home. Or maybe my mom did mention that when I was little, when I was growing up. Take it back to its home. Take it back to its home. The toys, right? The
Oh,
toys when I was a little girl. So I have heard
I
that before,
always
but it's so
got,
true.
just pick them up, pick them up.
Yeah, clean it
Never
now,
had
clean
the
it now.
concept of having a place called home for each of your objects.
Yeah, I should use that for my children too. Although they are really good already. They already put their stuff away. But when I always ask them first, are you done playing? Because Annie, I swear, like the room sometimes is like a fortress. They they're so magical. They'll start filming, they want to direct, they have their whole Godzillas, these tracks here, and then they have a made a fort. It's like it's amazing when I go inside there. So I never say, pick it up. I'm like, are you done playing? And they'll say, no. I'm like, okay. And then I said, when they've come downstairs, then they're like, I asked them a question again. I said, are you done playing? Like, yes. I said, okay, now you can go ahead and return everything. But now I'm going to say, and put them back in its home. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, can you discuss a moment in your coaching career that profoundly impacted you and reinforced your commitment to this work?
I found that about 5 years ago, I was meditating and I felt an overwhelming urge to do something new with my life. And that was Empower Life Changers. It was creating a safe haven for coaches and people to find their place in life. And I feel so blessed to have touched so many lives in a way that they become successful themselves.
Yes. And it's a ripple effect.
Yes, it is the ripple effect.
Is a book that someone recommended. I forget the authors, but it's called Connected. And it's talking about how important one individual is. If we create positivity around our atmosphere or around us in our environment, I should say, then the next person senses that and feels it because they feel that energy. And then it's just a ripple effect. It goes so forth and so forth. Kind of like the concept
Right.
of, yeah, kind of like the concept
6 degrees of separation, too.
of, right.
Everyone's connected.
We
You
are
might
all
know
connected.
somebody, but they might know the other person that you know in Boston. It's such a small world.
So true, so true. It's like a paying it forward, but spreading the love, I say. Let's just spread the love with kindness, compassion, empathy, forgiveness. All of
Oh,
those are the life hacks. I say those are the
yes, they
life
are.
hacks. Always,
They
always.
are.
Now I
And
know,
always giving yourself compassion
yes.
because they aren't mistakes, they're mistakes.
Yeah.
So you can always do them over. mistake is a learning. So if you learn from that, then you can go out and you can repeat the same situation with a better result.
Yes, and it's true. We're learning from all of our experiences, whether good or bad. And I found that the key to happiness for myself is accepting whatever experience happens to me and being okay with it. Because at the end of the day, it is okay. We're all supposed to be going through what we're going through here on earth. Going on more of a spiritual level here, we all come down here with amnesia, trying to figure out who we are as a soul being. And then once we discover who we are, and then it's all magical. And yes, we will still have hard times, but it's how we respond to it, how we react differently is what matters most. And then, like I said, because it can change the the environment around us and then the people around us.
Right. And we end up 180 to 360 degrees from where we started. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone changes careers now, and you never, when I grew up, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Oh.
And then I went into chemical technician and then into computers, went years in the computer industry, and now I'm helping others build businesses and people losing weight and helping them become high performance people.
Yes, and when people do lose weight, the energy is already there. It because you have more energy. I notice
Oh,
that when
yeah.
I lose at least 5 pounds, my back feels better. All of a sudden, I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
right.
yeah, and then you
And
can
it
do
takes
more.
40 pounds off your knees,
Yes.
40 foot-pounds.
So true. I used to be in the weight loss. I was a weight loss consultant for many years, long time ago. That was in my 20s. But yes, I actually worked with a lot of women and just seeing them transform, they were so happy once they got to their own goal weight, their personal goal weight. And they're
Right.
just glowing, they're happy, they're energized. They're like, I just want to be able to be there with for my grandchildren and be active with them. And that was their goal. That was their motivation to lose weight, was to be active with their grandchildren. And I thought that was so beautiful. It was so sweet.
Oh, yes. And again, it comes back to a good coach, helping them find that deep why, that why that they'll cry over,
Hmm.
um, in order to achieve their goals.
Yeah. Now, I know you just wrote a book, but looking
Yes.
forward, what are some of the goals or projects you're mostly excited about? And how do you plan to continue impacting the lives of others?
Well, I am currently building a business of coaching for businesses to businesses where they become profitable and I help them gain clients. So I see that for the next 3 to 5 years. But I do want to write another book, and I've got some ideas that I'm flushing out and working on that. And I want to travel.
Where do you want to travel to? How exciting.
Well, this September, I'm going to travel to Alaska for
Wow,
10 days. So that's going to be
beautiful.
fun.
My husband and I were just looking on YouTube downstairs in our living room. We wanted to see all of the Alaskan cruises, where they go through, I think they leave
Yes,
from Washington and they go all the way to Alaska and they stop on all
right.
these beautiful places. I'm like, oh wow, like Juneau and some
Yes.
other places. And like
And
it is absolutely gorgeous.
Ketchikan and
Yeah.
Victoria. Yep,
How exciting. Now
it is.
finally, yeah, yeah. Take pictures.
I sure
Take
will.
pictures and share them on social media if you do social media. But speaking about social media, I wanted to ask you, where can our listeners go ahead and contact you or follow you?
My website is enroll10.com. They can reach out and call me at 302-932-1556. They can reach me via email at Annie S as in Sam, Harmon, all one word, @gmail.com.
Awesome. And I will have everything in the show notes for our listeners. But
Great.
finally, for those listening who might feel stuck or overwhelmed by their circumstances, what would be your key advice to help them find their path to empowerment and resilience?
Reach out, because there is a lot of power in hearing another person reinforce what you know inside. We can help you get over that fear, and we can help you get over the overwhelm and help you get to the point where you are successful and you know what direction you want to take in your life.
Absolutely. I always say ask for help, reach out. You never
Yes,
know what the other side looks like until you ask for that for take that first step by asking for help. So yes, I
right.
agree.
Take my hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, any last words or thoughts, Annie?
I just want to thank you, Gina, for a wonderful time. I really look forward to seeing this published and hearing everyone's comments.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Annie. It's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.